Devious Dungeon is a pretty good game. It's addictive and fun with frequent checkpoints so you don't lose too much progress. But it's just a bit too bland to make this an unequivocal recommendation from me. Devious Dungeon is a 2D action platformer with procedurally generated levels and roguelike elements. The premise is pretty basic. There's a monster in the castle's dungeon and you need to get past lots of other monsters to get to it and beat it. The controls are pretty simple, it's basically just jump and attack. The aim of each level is to find the key and get to the door to make your way to the next level. You collect money along the way from the enemies you kill or from objects that you break, and you use the money to buy new weapons, armor or other items to improve your character stats. There are 3 stats really in the game. You can improve your strength, your HP and your probability of executing critical attacks. Your stats improve from the items you buy and also from leveling up. You earn experience for killing enemies and level up after getting enough experience points. The game handily has a checkpoint system, so every 3 levels you unlock a new checkpoint, so when you die you don't need to start right back at the beginning. You also get to keep all your money, experience and items when you die, so there's no real penalty to death. This is good in a way that the game doesn't waste your time, but it also made the game feel pretty easy. The enemies do get tougher as you progress in the game, they hit harder and have better range of attacks, but it was always possible to kill them without taking any damage. You just need to be patient and learn their attack moves and know when to strike. There are 5 bosses to beat in the game. For the most part, they were kind of like big versions of some of the common enemies you find. I didn't find them very hard at all, and some of them I beat in my first try. The gameplay itself was good. It's fun to jump and attack enemies, but once you finish the first boss, there isn't a lot new for the rest of the game to see. Like I said, the enemies do get tougher, there are new enemy types, but they tend to be variations of the old enemy types. It's just a really straightforward game. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I can't help comparing it to other 2D action platformers on the Vita like Shovel Knight or Rogue Legacy, and it really doesn't compare well to them. Rogue Legacy in particular doesn't cost much more than Devious Dungeon, and it has similar fun to play game mechanics, but it's also got variety in its gameplay, greater challenge, and it can last 30 to 40 hours. You'll finish Devious Dungeon in around 3 hours and be completely done with it. It may have been a more interesting game if it was a more pure roguelike, and threw you back to the beginning of the game with none of your money and purchases, so you had to play through the whole game. It would have led to me playing more cautiously, and the difficulty would seem more challenging if you couldn't just die and restart a level with full health. I like the pixel graphics in the heroes and enemies, and I also thought it was cool that the hero's look changes depending on the armor he's wearing. I also need to add that I found some performance issues playing on my Vita and PSTV. The screen would stutter every now and again. It didn't impact gameplay, but it was noticeable. Overall, Devious Dungeon is still a decent game, and if you're a fan of Rogue Legacy and want a game that plays similarly, then this isn't a bad choice. But if you haven't played Rogue Legacy, definitely pick that up before Devious Dungeon, and maybe wait for a sale for this one. So guys, have you played Devious Dungeon? What did you think of it? Leave a comment below, and as always, thanks for watching.